A championship fight will take place on Fuel TV. This is the UFC weigh-in show, and it starts right now.
There are the two participants in tomorrow's main event, BARAO and Michael McDonald. The interim bantamweight champion of the world, BARAO hasn't lost a fight since his MMA debut back in 2005. Hoping to end that streak, his opponent, the 22-year-old McDonald. If Mayday captures gold tomorrow night, he'd move past John Jones as the youngest fighter in UFC history to win a title. Well, Michael Bisping and the fans are ready, and so are we. For the first time ever, it's a championship fight on Fuel TV. Final weigh-in preparations underway from the UK, but we come to you live from LA. Karen Bryant alongside Chael Sonnen and UFC bantamweight champion Dominick Cruz from the Fox Studios in Los Angeles, California. Well, tomorrow's fight is for the interim 135-pound championship, and the reason for the interim moniker is because the man to my far left has never lost his title. Dominick Cruz hasn't defended the belt, though, since October 1st, 2011, due to a number of unfortunate injuries to his knee. And Dominick, of course, everybody wants to know, how you feeling with this fight going down tomorrow?
Oh, man, it's pretty tough. You know, the best way I can explain it to you fans out there how I'm feeling is go ahead and starve yourself for a year and a half and put a plate of food in front of you and see if you don't want to go in there and grub that food. The bottom line is all these #1 contenders, I cannot wait to get in there and eat them up. You know, I mean, I'm in prison, I'm doing my prison time right now, but when I get out, it's a wrap. So enjoy yourselves winning right now and enjoy the spotlight.
Guys, I'll tell you what, that is fantastic, but this isn't the only great card tomorrow night. The one I'm really looking forward to, and I keep telling you, is Gunnar Nelson. He's taking on George Santiago. George is a stud himself. He's down at this weight class. His third run in the UFC. He truly needs this. Gunnar is flat impressive. I can't wait.
This is a very good fight card. Of course, we're going to get to all of it. And right now, we're going to start with the main event, this terrific title tilt. Now, losses are a very rare thing when it comes to these two fighters. BARAO and McDonald, a combined 44-2 with 1 no contest. And I do want to start with the champion. BARAO has won 19 fights in a row. Chael, how has this man been able to pull this streak off in the UFC?
Yeah, and guys, I'll tell you what, it's 19 confirmed fights. He's arguing he's won as many as 30 in a row, and nobody's really disputed it, including myself up here. But, you know, he didn't do them in the octagon, and things do change when you get to the UFC. But he's been impressive there. He's grabbed the belt. He's down at 135 pounds to stay away from his teammate, Jose Aldo, who's at 145. He's even gone as far as to say making weight is his most difficult challenge for a fight.
And then you got a guy like McDonald, who you cannot look past. I mean, this guy's got one of the most powerful styles in the bantamweight division. And if you really look at the stats on these guys, you got BARAO, who's got the second highest offensive rate in the bantamweight division. And you've got McDonald, who's got the highest first-round knockout rate in the bantamweight division. You put those two things together, if BARAO gets over-anxious and starts throwing too many punches and gets too offensive without being careful, McDonald has the style to come back with a nice counter-strike and put him down with a one-shot punch.
It's definitely not going to be a slow fight.
Definitely not.
Say the least.
Well, for more on this main event, let's send it to the fourth member of our team, Gareth A. Davis, who's on the ground in London. Gareth, take it away.
Thanks, Karen. Welcome to Wembley Arena in the shadow of the iconic setting of Wembley Stadium, where England won the Soccer World Cup in 1966. It's considered hallowed turf here, and that elite sports status transfers tomorrow night to the UFC's 4th title fight here in the UK. For the main event, BARAO, the brilliant Brazilian, takes on rising tyro Michael McDonald, who is still only 22. Now, UFC President Dana White says he wants the winner to face Dominick Cruz this summer. And if McDonald wins, he will be younger than when John Jones won the light heavyweight title to become the youngest champion in UFC history. Facing McDonald, though, is BARAO, who told me this week that he's not fighting for himself, but he's fighting for his family. Every time he wins, he sets up another family member for life. Back to you in the studio in LA, Karen.
All right, thank you for that, Gareth. It is time now for our Twitter poll question of the fighters on tomorrow's main card with 2 or less fights in the UFC. Who has the brightest future? To vote, use the following hashtags. Jimmo Star, if you feel the Canadian could be a future superstar. Manoa Star, if you feel England's Jimmy Manoa could be the best of the bunch. Or Nelson Star, if you think Gunnar Nelson has the most upside. We'll have the results later in the program. Coming up after the break, BARAO, McDONALD, Poirier, Swanson, and the rest of the fighters hit the scale in London. John Anik is on the call when we return. This is the UFC Weigh-In on Fuel TV. The UFC Weigh-In on Fuel TV is brought to you by Harley-Davidson, united by independence.
Fuel TV's first title fight for the interim bantamweight championship.
What's up, London, England? Thank you all for coming out. It is the official weigh-in. Carly Baker is here. UFC President Dana White is in the building. The best matchmaker in the business, Joe Silva. Lorenzo Fertitta is here. The veteran voice of the Octagon is Bruce Buffer. The inimitable B-Dub Burt Watson. And Mark Ratner is here. To get us going, we begin with the Facebook prelims in the flyweight division. Phil Billy Harris versus Ulysses Useless Gomez. First fighter to the scale, Ulysses Gomez. '26. 126 for Ulysses Gomez. And his opponent, Phil Harris. 125. 125 for Phil Harris. All right, our next bout is in the bantamweight division. Vaughn Lee versus Motanabu Tezuka. 135 for Motanabu Tezuka. And his opponent, Vaughn Lee. For Vaughn Lee. All right, our next bout is in the middleweight division. Tom Kong Watson versus Stanislav Stucky Netkov. First fighter to the scale making his middleweight debut, Stanislav Netkov. $185 for Stanislav Netkov. And his opponent, Tom Kong Watson.
What few people know about Tom Watson is that he did a media studies master's degree at college. He even wrote plays as a playwright. He wrote a play on David Beckham called Buckingham Palace that was performed in theatres.
$185 for Tom Watson. Our next bout is in the featherweight division. Andy, the Little Axe Ogle versus Josh, the Fluke Crispy. For Josh Crispy and his opponent Andy Ogle.
Andy Ogle is a very durable fighter. I know him very well from Tough 15. I saw him sit in a triangle for 5 minutes and fight his way out of it, get back up to his feet, look for him to make this a crazy brawl, and a very emotional fighter looking to hurt that person that he's in there with.
$145 for Andy Ogle. is in the lightweight division. Paul Sass versus Danny Last Call Castillo.
Danny Castillo insists that wearing a tuxedo to the weigh-in is not a joke. He sees the weigh-in as a performance, as an occasion, and like a wedding. That's why he looks like he does right now.
$156 for Danny Castillo and his opponent, Paul Sass.
Paul Sass taught jiu-jitsu moves to Ricky Hatton, the two-weight world boxing champion, prior to this fight, but Hatton taught him some stand-up skills. Sass reckons he might even win by KO tomorrow night.
$156 for Paul Sass. That is a great fight, the lightweight division. Danny Castillo and Paul Sass. Staying in the lightweight division, Terry Edom versus Henne Forch. $156 for Henne Forch and his opponent, Terry Edom. $155 for Terry Edom. And now we get to the main card for the UFC on Fuel TV. First up in the welterweight division, Shea Mills versus Matthew Riddle.
Oh, listen to those boos. Matthew Riddle has come to us. Don't be fooled by that smile, guys. Not only has he incited the entire country with his comments, he's publicly stated with a win tomorrow night, he's going to call out another British fighter.
$170 for Matthew Riddle. And his opponent, beautiful Shea Mills. $170 for Shea Mills. All right, our next bout comes in the light heavyweight division. James Tahuna versus Ryan Big Deal Jimmo. James Tahuna. For James Tahuna. Our next bout in the welterweight division, Gunny Nelson versus Jorge the Sandman Santiago. First fighter in the scale making his welterweight debut.
Gunnar Nelson truly brings out the fan. His debut in the octagon is the single most impressive I have ever seen in this sport. This is a very tough fight with a seasoned George Santiago, but do not take your eye off this young talent. He's going to be around for a long time.
$170 for Jorge Santiago. And his opponent, Gunny Nelson. $169 for Gunnar Nelson. All right, back now to the light heavyweight division. Poster boy Jimmy Manuwa versus Cyril the Snake Diabate.
A UFC event has never taken place in Paris, France. That's why the experienced Cyril Diabate says he's keeping his UFC career on track. He wants to be in that event.
$206 for Cyril Diabate. And his opponent, Jimmy Manuwa. heavyweight division, Cyril Diabate and Jimmy Manuwa. All right, now we get to our co-main event in the featherweight division. Cub Swanson versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
If you thought Dustin Poirier was exceptional before when he was in an elimination fight to get to the title with Jose Aldo, wait until you see him now. His confidence is at an all-time high. He's got a new camp. He's training at ATT in Florida. Keep your eye on this guy. He is ready to go.
For Dustin Poirier. And his opponent, Cub Swanson.
As a tearaway teenager, Cub Swanson was sent to Juvenile Hall. Now he goes back to Indio Juvenile Hall, Southern California, where he's a role model and a motivational speaker there, and the kids absolutely love him.
.46. 146 for Cub Swanson. All right, now it is time to take a closer look at the two men involved in tomorrow night's 5-round championship main event.
BARAO, he is the total package. Everything he does excellent. He has nasty kicks, knees, punches, and a ridiculously high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ground game to go along with it.
Eu acho que sim, né? Acho que posso ter chão perigoso ali para ele ali.
Look at how he took that back. That was outstanding. He has devastating power. Unbelievable. And BARAO is a monster. McDonald truly is one of the new generation fighters. He's a very, very impressive young kid. 22 years old, unstoppable. This kid has some unbelievable qualities, and he has them in this really boyish face. He doesn't look like a killer until the fight starts. He's one of those dudes that can knock out any man on any given day.
The power to put people away. What I want people to think when they hear that you might be fighting Michael McDonald, immediately I want them to think, wow, I might be getting knocked out.
He's out. It's all over. That kid is dangerous.
When an opponent gets thrown to me like Renan Barão, it's not a problem because I've been training for an opponent like this for years now. I'm just going to focus on the task at hand, and that's coming home with a victory. I don't even want to look at a title. The only thing that I want on my mind is beating Renan Barão. Mostrar meu trabalho da melhor forma possível mais uma vez. Vou levar esse cinturão pra lá. Eu acredito que eu sou campeão. I don't care whether he's champion or not. I'm better than he is.
First fighter to the scale, looking to become the youngest champion in UFC history, Michael "Mayday" McDonald.
When he's not fighting, Michael McDonald told me this week that he makes bespoke furniture and kitchens for people. Tomorrow night, he's looking to turn the screw on Renan Barão.
134. 134 for Michael McDonald. And his opponent, the UFC interim bantamweight champion, Henan BARAO.
Henan BARAO is the interim bantamweight champion. He's coming off 19 straight wins. This is a guy that uses his range very well and uses that to land the big power shots when the guys are running in at him. He also has an extremely high pace on the ground. If you take him down and try to grapple with him, he's going to be looking for submissions. If he doesn't get them, he's using those submission attempts to get to his feet.
34. 134 for Henan BARAO. Ladies and gentlemen, the interim bantamweight championship combatants, Henan BARAO and Michael McDonald. All right, thank you all so much for coming out. We'll see you tomorrow night if you are watching the UFC weigh-in on Fuel TV. Plenty more coverage to come with Karen Bryant, Chael Sonnen, the champ Dominic Cruz, and Gareth A. Davis. We now send it back to Los Angeles. KB, take it away.